So let's say you've been in a relationship for a couple of years and your partner decides to cheat. Not only can they download an app like Tinder and lock it so that only they have access to it and that no notifications go outside of the app, they can also hide it so that if you're checking their phone, there's zero indication that the Tinder app is downloaded at all.
All right, so here's a story. Perhaps it's a little lesser story, but it made news apparently. Says Apple users already fed up with iOS 18 for being a cheater's paradise and making them want to throw up. Now, first things first, I don't personally know about all of the features that Android has because honestly, I don't care. So I'm not sure if Android has features where they allow you to face lock and unlock apps from the main display screen or whatever. I don't know if they do that. But even if they did, it really wouldn't matter to me because I just don't care. It's Android. So bottom line is iOS 18, and I put this in a video maybe 2 days ago. iOS 18 introduced a new feature where it allows you to use Face ID to lock or unlock apps that you want to hide from easy display or you want to hide from the main screen or that you just want to lock for whatever reason. Specifically, your photos folder, or what else? Like WhatsApp, WeChat. So basically, and I'm not surprised about this because I actually alluded to it in the video I made because I was telling a story. For instance, I've known some psychotic girlfriends. A lot of us know, or maybe we have friends who have a girlfriend who will go through your dude's phone, and it's very disrespectful, but she will go right into your dude's phone. A lot of these women nowadays, these modern women, because a lot of them are cheating, so they have like, how should I say, they have cheating tendencies, so because of that, they're insecure. And because they're insecure, they think you're the cheater because they start projecting themselves onto you. So the problem is they're cheaters. They're the ones who are at work and they got a work husband. Like when they go to work, because here's the thing. See, men don't understand this game, and I don't want to go too far off subject, but men don't understand. You see, when you and your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, you'll wake up in the morning, she goes, washes herself up. She's smelling nice. She pretties herself up. She's looking beautiful. She's looking gorgeous. She's looking hot. She's looking sexy. She's looking attractive, right? But then she goes to work. She's not hanging around you because you yourself, you got to, clean yourself and you got to go to work too. So she's not hanging around you. All of that hot sexiness, she's taking that to work with her. And when she's at work, I guarantee there's a dude at work who she's all of that hotness and sexiness and prettiness and everything, he's benefiting from that, not you. So when he comes in, chances are he might have set up a coffee pot in her room, or they share an office or a cubicle or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about because you know your situation better than I do. And he comes in, he's got he went to Target, he went shopping, he got like a bag of French vanilla from that Folgers Crystals or whatever. And he has a coffee pot just for them, just for him and her. And they share the coffee pot. He comes in, hey, good morning. And she maybe he gives her a hug. Maybe he gives her a kiss on the cheek. I don't know. And he brings in that Folgers Crystals. And he puts the Folgers Crystals into the coffee pot. And then he's got the whole cubicle smelling like Folgers Crystals French vanilla. And don't worry, hon, I also remembered the coffee creamer. So he's got the coffee creamer too. He's got the French vanilla coffee creamer. Wait a minute. It's September. He's got the pumpkin spice. And you know these women will do anything for that pumpkin spice. He's got the pumpkin spice and he's got the French vanilla. He might even have the pumpkin spice Folgers Crystals coffee to go along with the pumpkin spice creamer. She's got a cup and he's got a cup. And they're both sipping coffee all morning together. And then go, hey, it's 12 o'clock. What are you doing for lunch? And, yeah, well, I was going to go out. But, no, come on, let's go out. And then they go out for lunch. They go to Starbucks or some shit. And they waste a lot of money. And then, they go to like either I don't know what's, near your wife's job or whatever. So it could be Starbucks. It could be Taco Bell. I really don't know. So they go out and they eat lunch together. They got coffee in the morning. And the bottom line is, after a long day's work, she and her work husband, she's been with her work husband all day, flirting and looking cute and pretty and everything. But then at the end of the day, she comes home to you wasted, tired, exhausted. She don't feel like looking at you because she comes home from a long day of work and she don't even feel like looking at your ass. But she spent all day with her work husband. So he benefited from he got the best of her at work. And what do you get? You get sloppy seconds. So she comes home, she kicks her shoes off wherever, leaves her stuff off like at the door. And then she comes in and she just drops in the bed, plops down in the bed, and she might even take a nap. She don't even probably acknowledge your ass. You probably in there on the computer playing PlayStation 5 or something. I don't know. I don't know what your situation is. Bottom line is, her work husband got the best of her, and you didn't. And these women, what they do now is they're so insecure because they know that they project themselves onto you. As far as they're concerned, you must be talking to some chick at work. And you're doing everything she's doing, because if she could visualize it in herself, she could visualize it in you. So she's projecting herself onto you. So bottom line is, because I don't want to get too far off topic, bottom line is, these women are angry at iOS 18. They're angry. It's not the men who are angry, it's the women who are angry, because it's the women who are projecting themselves. So the bottom line is, you're locking up your photos, you're locking up WhatsApp, you're locking up WeChat, you're locking up Instagram, you're locking up Facebook, whatever it is. And after all, your Facebook Messenger, do you realize, like, first of all, if you were to look through just about any of these dudes' Facebook messengers, they got nude photos. Like, they've got selfies, nude photos. You know Anthony Weiner? You remember him? You remember Anthony Weiner? I think he was like a senator of my state or something like that. And they had to get rid of his ass because this guy's up there texting photos of his eggplant. And he's up there texting it. I'm telling you, it's like all of these dudes. If you were to look in there in that Facebook Messenger, and you look and you see like the chat that he's got with some other girl, some other chick, I guarantee you there's nudies in there. She sends him one, and he sent her like one, and every time she wake up certain morning, I want to see it. And he sends her another one, and it builds up. And now with iOS 18, now you have the ability to lock down certain apps to make it so that nobody from the outside who doesn't have your Face ID or your Touch ID, they can't see them. From what I've realized with the last iOS, the deleted photos were locked pretty much automatically by Face ID. So it's actually surprising to me that they actually had to really give the apps this ability, because I would have assumed they already had this ability, but now they're getting it. So as you know, I think it was iOS, it was a while ago. I think it was like iOS 10 or something like that. But they gave you the ability at a certain point that when you delete photos, they go to the deleted folder, but they don't actually delete for like 30 days. So the problem is, if you delete a photo, you have to physically delete it again just to make sure that it's fully deleted. Otherwise, that photo will sit there for 30 days, and if you want to restore it, you can restore it. And I think it's a good feature. But that deleted album app, it had to be locked with FaceTime to make sure that nobody could go into your photos and look at your stuff. Because you may, like, let's say you had those nude pictures. Maybe you want to delete those, you want to get them off your phone, you don't want them on your phone. So if you push delete, they go away, but they only sit there for 30 days, and you don't know what could happen. Somebody could find them, right? So you got to make sure that stuff gets deleted. So I say all that to say this. They're mad. They're big mad because now iOS 18 gives you power over all of the individual apps, right? So I know psychotic girlfriends. I had this one friend, it kind of made me not like, I kind of don't like going out to certain places with other people. And clubs are one of them. And this is part of what did it for me. He'd get up and he want to go to the bathroom. And he wanted to go to the bathroom. So we're sitting at the table. He wanted to go to the bathroom. But she has to get up and follow him to the bathroom. So he goes into the bathroom. And she's waiting right outside the bathroom to make sure that there's no way that he could talk or communicate with any other women. I can't make this shit up. And when I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute, what are you, a prisoner? Like what are you doing? It's like, how are you letting? She's like standing outside the bathroom watching you. It's like, what? Like, now it gets even worse than that. And I know you're gonna call this toxic behavior. See, the women like to call men everything they do is toxic behavior. But imagine this. So you got this psychotic girlfriend. Now you're at work, right? So you got a psychotic girlfriend. You're at work. And what she does is she forces you to leave your phone running. So she calls you up at work and then forces you to leave the phone running on speakerphone so that she could listen in on you and make sure you're not talking to anybody at work. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And it got so bad that I didn't want to actually be around this person that much, because I'm always looking at their phone to just make sure that their phone is not on and recording. Because you know how iPhone has that little orange light and they have the little green light and it says if your mic and your camera's on? Well, I couldn't be sure that he's not recording. Like this dude, it's like you're in the mafia and this dude comes in there and he's wearing a wire and you're talking freely and everything. And then you start thinking about it, like, wait a minute, are you wearing a wire? So I'm looking at him, I'm like, wait a minute, is your phone on? Why is your phone on? Why is your shit counting down? Why the fuck is your counter running? And I'm like, yo, wait a minute. I didn't know she was listening. I didn't know somebody else was listening. Yo, turn that shit off. And I mean, it should never, and that's what it is. It should never get to that point, but it does. And it never fails. There's certain people when I'm around them, certain male friends, and this almost never happens with female friends I know. But when I'm around male friends, it never, ever fails. All of a sudden, they get a call from this chick because she's like insecure about whether or not he's talking to women. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So you see what I'm saying? So locking down parts of your iPhone in order to make sure that they're not seeing your nude photos or somebody else's nude photos, or that that they're not seeing, whatever you did. I don't give a shit what you did. Whatever you did, that's your privacy. That's like part of the Fourth Amendment. Nobody has a right to search and seize your shit. But they will demand your password, and they demand access. Like some of them will force you to program their fingerprint onto your phone so that they can get into your phone. It's like, no, you're not getting into my fucking phone. What are you, kid? Let me tell you something. If I die right now, I want my phone and my computer buried with me or cremated or whatever. I want it all, like anything that I have with personal data, I want that shit burned. That's how I feel about it. But these people, especially these women, and they are so, they're psychotic. And they force you to put their Touch ID on your phone. Or if you have Face ID and the Face ID allows more than one face, they'll force you to program their Face ID into your phone. Now, as far as I know, Apple iPhone doesn't do that, but some of these Android phones have dual Face IDs. It's like, nah, man. No. This is my phone. This is my Fourth Amendment right. It's like, I don't want you touching nothing at all. It's like that, but some of these dudes are so weak, and some of these dudes are so thirsty that they tolerate this abusive and toxic behavior. They tolerate this shit. I don't know why. I do know why. It's because they got that in-house cat, and they don't want the cat to leave the house. So when the cat threatens to leave the house, they just acquiesce. And you can't do that. You can't do that. If the cat threatens to leave the house, tell the cat, pack your shit and get the fuck out. Just do that. And you'll say, no, listen, I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to get me fresh cat. Or I'm going to get me younger fresh cat. Or I'm going to get me younger fresh impoverished cat. But nah, you ain't gonna tell me, like, I gotta program you into my phone. Like, you ain't getting my phone. What are you talking about? Get out of my phone. My computer, everything, anything I got passwords on it. You ain't getting in nothing at all. The only time anybody ever gets that kind of access to my stuff is if I'm going away for a long vacation and I hand them my safe deposit box and I say, yeah, okay, just in case anything happens to me, here's the deed to my house and here's my car keys and all that. Cadillac's going to come and pick this car up in a couple, like if you miss a payment or something, they're going to come get this. As for my Jeep, that's paid off. So, you can do whatever you want with it. I really don't care, but you're going to have to go to the DMV. You're going to have to re-register this shit in your name or whatever. It's up to you. I don't really care. But yeah, man, I ain't letting nobody get their hands on. What are you talking about? You're not getting in my phone. What are you talking about? I got all types of stuff in my phone I don't want you seeing. And you could speculate about that. I don't care. You can speculate, oh, well, what are you looking at? None of your goddamn business what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. And that's the thing. That's how you got to treat these people, because some of these people, they'll go through your stuff. It's like, you can't have that. You cannot have that. Your privacy is all, at the end of the day, your privacy is all you got. So it says iOS 18 and new iPhones are going to make these birds cheat like a muff. This is crazy. Relationships are dead. iOS 18 tried to convert diehard Android men who cheat to iPhones. A third joke. Equally reviled was the new photo app, which one user labeled one of the worst designs Apple has ever released. Now, as far as this photo app goes, it's overwhelming at first, but what you have to do is you have to go in there and you have to tell it what albums do you want it to show. So you have to customize it a little bit. I'm not going to say it's the worst. I will say it's a little clunky, and chances are they'll fix it later on. But once you get rid of the folders and stuff that you don't really want to see, it's not that bad. And it also gives you the option to decide what photos and stuff you do want to see. So I consider that pretty good. My recents, my videos, my favorites. They even have a folder for trips. And the phone knows where you were when you took these photos. So it calls that a trip. So if it knows that I went to Bali, it made a folder for Bali. It knows that I went to Singapore, it made a folder for Singapore. It knows when I took photos in Thailand, so it made photos of Bangkok. It knows that I was in Japan, so it made photos of Japan. So I like that feature. That's actually pretty. It saves me a lot of trouble when I want to go back into the phone and I want to find photos. It actually saves me a lot of trouble. iOS 18's photo app change makes me overall want to throw up. Getting rid of the scrubbing in full screen videos. I haven't seen that. I haven't tested that. I haven't noticed that, but they're saying that, they got rid of scrubbing in full screen videos. Not previewing photos and videos in full screen off the bat. Ugly one page for everything means you have to scroll relentlessly. Chances are they'll change that. It'll probably be an update, maybe by 18.5 or something. Who knows? It says the new Photos app in iOS 18 is clunky and weird. I hate it. Just feels unnecessarily complicated, and you have to navigate so much to do simple things. Many critics also hated the much-hyped Control Center function that lets users customize and resize homepage app icons and buttons. While ostensibly designed to give the user more creative freedom, many iPhone buffs found it far too convoluted. Whoever designed the iOS 18 Control Center should be fired. It is not user-friendly at all. Coincidentally, shares of Apple fell nearly 3% on Monday after several analysts claimed that delivery times for the new iPhone 16 Pro models indicated weaker than expected demand. It says some tech experts attributed the lack of clamor to the delayed rollout of key artificial intelligence features. The major selling point, Apple Intelligence, is not available at launch alongside the iPhone 16 release, said Ming-Chi Kuo, an Apple analyst at TF International Securities. Now, this is what I'm talking. When I talk about shoddy journalism, this right here is a perfect example of shoddy journalism. They mention that this iOS has app hiding functions, but they don't even bother to explain it in more detail, nor do they explain why you might want to hide apps. So it's actually like the journalists. This shit could have been written by artificial intelligence, because what artificial intelligence will do is the exact same thing. It'll go and it'll find, testimonials, and it'll just lump them in, and it won't really do much to explain what the problem is so that a person who's never touched an iPhone before can understand it. What I see they did here was they put a photo that shows how iPhone 18's photo app has been changed. And I do agree. It is a little bit more overwhelming. However, the customizability of it is, in my opinion, okay. But yeah, that's what this is. The mere fact that you have the ability to lock your apps, they're not happy about that. Let me go one step further. You know what they should also have? When I use my iPhone, there's always a specific, well, first of all, we have Face ID. You don't really touch ID these things anymore. But let's say you did have Touch ID. They should have made it so that you could have an erase all quick button. So let's say that I always use my thumb on my right hand. Maybe what I could do is use my pinky on my left hand to force the iPhone to go into erase iPhone mode. And this way, if you have anybody who tries to get into your phone or whatever, you could be able to erase your iPhone. Now, what they do have is Find My iPhone, and you can automatically erase your iPhone from, the internet. I like that because iPhone, iMac, anything that you have that has personal data on it, even if it gets stolen or lost, being able to erase it from a distance and make the phone nothing but a empty shell, I like that ability, because you don't want somebody screwing with your personal data, because you have a lot of data in these devices. I mean, it stores your credit card numbers, passwords, addresses, phone numbers. You don't want nobody getting access to that stuff. So I don't have a problem with increasing privacy. But think about it like that. How could people have a problem with you being able to increase your personal privacy? These people are communists. These people feel that you don't have a right to privacy. That's what you got to understand, what you're dealing with. This mentality, these people are commies. And as far as they're concerned, you have no privacy. You have no right to privacy. These people want to violate your rights to free speech. They want to violate your rights to privacy. And they want to violate your rights to property as much as they can. They want to be able, think about it. It's just like with this bullshit about telling Donald Trump all the time to show his taxes. I ain't got to show you shit. The Constitution says nothing about showing taxes. Who is you? And Donald Trump, to all, he's busy talking about cats eating cats, dogs, ducks, geese, and all this shit. My thing is, if I was Donald Trump, I'd tell these people, I ain't showing you shit. And I'd tell them on live television, I ain't showing you nothing. Constitution don't say I got to show you nothing. If you want to show your stuff and you want to show your taxes to everybody, go right on ahead. You show it. I ain't showing you shit at all. And now, it's funny, I watch a lot of these YouTube videos. Now you got these like sovereign citizens, and these people finally growing a spine when the cops come around, and the cops just walk up to them. They're not doing anything, and the cops just walk up to them, yeah, I need to see your ID. And they're like, I ain't showing you no ID. Do you have a reason for me to show you ID? I ain't showing you nothing. Oh, you're not going to show me ID? No, you can call your supervisor. I ain't showing you nothing. You have no probable cause. You got no this, you got no that. And as much as part of me wants to say, yeah, you're being an agent provocateur, you're being a jerk. Simple fact is, we got constitutional rights. If I'm just standing here and you have no probable cause, I ain't showing you a goddamn thing. Get your supervisor. Hi, supervisor. Yeah, you're underling, right? Because see, that's how you piss them off, because you gotta basically minimize them in their position, but you have to hope you do it in a way where they don't snap and pull that 9mm out. But anyway, yeah, your underling right here is trying to violate my constitutional rights. First of all, I'm just standing here. Whatever I'm doing is my business because I'm free as an American citizen. Blah blah blah. But your underling right here is up here trying to violate my constitutional rights. Once they realize that it's on that level, it's like, for the most part, the supervisor tries to, he tries to calm things down, and the underling gets angry and everything. The underling's pacing back and forth. He's probably got his glasses down so you can't see his eyes because you can't see how angry it is. And then he gets back in his car and they both drive away. The problem is, if you're in a car, you can't actually do that, because when you're driving a car, there's something called implied consent. And implied consent when you sign for your driver's license. Because the problem is, you have a right to own a car. You have no right to drive it. That's the problem. Driving is a privilege. So, some of these sovereign citizens, if you're just walking, like for instance, you know how they like to go after people of certain colors or certain whatever, but they like to go after people of certain colors because they happen to be walking through certain neighborhoods and they may or may not belong there. Who's to say? Yeah, these cops will pull you over and oh yeah, can I see some ID? I ain't showing you shit. I'm not showing you anything. Call your supervisor, blah, blah, blah. You can be nice about it. You can say, well, officer, what cause do you have to see this and that? Oh, well, I'm performing an ID check. Listen, that's against the Constitution. So I'll tell you what, you can call your supervisor and we'll talk to him about it. Because I'm not, and if you arrest me, then I'm going to bring you up on charges of a wrongful arrest, and I'll talk to you in court or something like that. But of course, again, you can't do that shit while you're driving a car. But anyway, and I guess that, I've led on to something else because I like ranting. This is fun. But I believe that part of the reason why you got all these fucking Karens calling the cops all the time because they see, people of a certain skin color that shouldn't be in their neighborhood. I personally believe that Airbnb has a lot to do with that. Because, see, the thing about it is, when these people rent out the Airbnbs, and I was in an Airbnb a couple of weeks ago, and it was in a nice neighborhood, and the neighbors were staring up at me. They were looking at me because I drove my Cadillac. I parked that shit right in the yard. And the neighbors were looking at me like I didn't belong there. I was like, well, we've got access to this Airbnb right here, so you can fuck off, But you have to think about the fact that these Airbnbs, they rent out to people, and for the most part, they don't care about race, color, creed, or religion. But what ends up happening is you get these Airbnbs, and they rent to people, and these people come to a neighborhood that they don't normally belong in. So what ends up happening is somebody, points to, oh, wait, you're not supposed to be here. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not supposed to be here. I'm a goddamn American citizen. I pay my fucking taxes. I probably pay your salary. Who the fuck are you looking at? And, see, the problem is, I'm not letting nobody violate my constitutional rights. Me and my Desert Eagle are not letting nobody violate my constitutional rights. It's just that simple. Even if I were to not have it, my Desert Eagle ain't having it. It ain't having it, not one goddamn bit. You ain't violating nothing at all. So when you get these people and they're trying to violate your privacy, it's like, nah, I got a problem with that. You're not violating my privacy. So bottom line is, if like the police were to arrest you, technically your fingerprints, they can actually use your fingerprints to open up your phone. I read this somewhere, like if there's a lawyer here, they could try to correct me. It probably is a state-by-state thing. Technically, they could use your fingerprints to open up your phone. What they can't do is force you to use like Face ID to open up your phone. They can't force you to do that. And they also cannot coerce your password out of you. They can use your fingerprints because the problem is they have access to your fingerprints in the police station. But they can't coerce you to open it up any other way. That's why I'm going through this long ass rant. But this whole thing about violating my amendment rights and my Fourth Amendment, my Second and First, you ain't doing that. My Desert Eagle goes click clack. It ain't having it. $3 a round. We ain't I'm sorry, $3.50 a round. This shit is expensive. In fact, I gotta go back to the ammo shop. But nah, man, we're not having it. We're not having it. So any Karen who want to jump up and tell me I don't belong in a certain place, oh, I need to see your phone to make sure you belong here. Oh, you have that Airbnb? Well, you need to call the person I can talk to. Nah, No, we're not doing that. I'll make it a very, very bad day for the both of us. No, we're not doing that. Those days are over, lady. But that's just what it is. So this whole thing about people trying to get in your phone, what? You ain't getting in my phone? What are you talking about? I got iOS 18. You ain't getting in my phone. But that's it. Like I think I've burned myself out at this point. Maybe I shouldn't have had that coffee. But yeah, that's basically it. So I don't know how you feel about it. I'm not buying the iPhone 16 until iPhone 17 because I need 1 terabyte to be upgraded to 2 terabytes. I cannot continue to use 1 terabyte. I've got like 25,000 photos on my phone. It's like I need 2 terabytes of storage. I have 25,000 photos and almost 2,000 small video clips. I need 2 terabytes. So once Apple gives me that, that's when I'll upgrade. As far as this iOS 18, so far I haven't had any problems out of it. So far it seems to be working well. So that's what it is. So questions, comments, criticisms, those can all go in the URL section.
Now here's what I think. iOS 18 did make it easier for people to cheat and hide things on their phone, but I think if you know what to look for, you can tell that they're hiding things. And if you're in a relationship and you find a locked or a hidden app that you need the password for and your partner isn't willing to give it to you when you're suspicious of them cheating, I think that's a huge red flag and that relationship isn't even worth being in.
To be continued.